LK-99, the future of humanity, or a really fancy magnet? Oh, we got a chemical formula from Wolfram Alpha right there. Well, I guess you all know what that means. We conjecture ahead.
Although this is going to be weird, and it's going to be about a different.
Title of the conference was something like Ground Truth or Turtles All the Way Down. And so it seems as though there's one Ruliad. I don't think it rules them all. And it might be just hyper rulial turtles all the way down.
Yes, it's on the back of an infinite number of hyperrulial turtles.
Various people are commenting on the outrage of hacking the universe on a MacBook Air.
Hey guys, what's going on? Memes here. So, has there anything been going on in the scientific world over the past week or so? I had my last convention, Fan Expo, got to see some folks, got to buy a Naruto headband, hashtag Shinobi, and a few other things. It was fun. But, all right, we're getting back to the science. And all I know is I did a video at the beginning of the week last week, and it's like, okay, that. I was going to do some other videos, and I totally got lazy. Totally missed out on an opportunity to ride the algorithm because it was what people were looking for, because, well, I was also kind of looking for it. But, all right, so the claim was apparently a paper, and then at least one or two more, with varying numbers of authors started to pop up on the archive. So basically, that's the scientific reference thing that if you happen to be within academia and somebody recommends you, you have the ability to post academic papers there, and people can view them and everything. So it's a pretty cool thing. But all I know is we did that video. I was cautiously optimistic, or a skeptical optimist. Optimistic, one of those things. You don't know what I'm saying. But essentially, I saw some things. It kind of remind me of some of the multi-layer twisted graphene that Brown University, MIT, and stuff had been working on last year. Like, I mean, I've been a superconducting binge. Why? Well, if we could legitimately do this and implement this on scale, that literally is a game changer for humanity. The amount of energy that we can save and the technology we can unlock, totally leveling up humanity. That's probably why a lot of folks are clamoring. And one of the things was when you're reading the directions, and one of the directions is we ground it with a mortar and pedestal. That's why I'm like, okay, so we're back to alchemy. Except instead of turning lead into gold, we're making floating rocks. We skipped right from the gold synthesis to unobtainium. It's not intended to be a scientific statement. But yeah, hey, Kali, what's going on? Well, that's basically what we're hearing here. Ultimately, it sounds like it's a magnet. It's we'll skip ahead to the. All right, hold on, let me bring this up. All right, so this was a paper. Oh God, I think this should be published. There's a bunch of authors and stuff in this. Where was it from? It's basically on the Google Drive, just getting ready to get uploaded to the archive. But ultimately, they doped it. What they got is in some BB9, basically the chemical compound there, could more likely be a magnet rather than an ambient temperature and pressure superconductor. Because I think Anton kind of summed up it. You're looking at it like, all right, well, this is exciting. It's not completely floating, but okay, that could happen. And actually, a shout out to former guest on the channel, Mike Perrone, and Jeremy, the alien scientist, from the Alien Scientist YouTube channel. But apparently, they've replicated some very small fragments. They saw some of the similar things as well. I should reach out. Oh God, I never even sent my follow-up thank you email to Mike from last year. I feel terrible, but no, I think he's down at like Worcester Polytech or one of the Worcester colleges or something. There, they have a nice lab. They had all the stuff. So like, all right, let's do it. And they're going to do some testing and try some different synthesis. My big thing is, I think the claim was, all right, well, this is it's basically maybe ferromagnetic, ferromagnetic, something like that. So it shows those things, but essentially also in where was it on the paper here? They said, and I did not know this, and I can not verify this, but It's a multi-phase material, so it's interesting that with a single crystal X-ray diffraction, structure consistent, blah blah blah. However, the material is transparent, which rules out a superconducting nature. So was that what the hubbub was about the other claimed one, where it's like they put it under a bunch of pressure, and then it became the red stuff, and people were excited about the red stuff, and it's like, I feel like this is something that's been being worked on for 20 years from at least one or two of the, I believe, was it Lynn and Kim? I believe. I apologize. Um, and then apparently somebody, I feel like once you see that video, the video, I mean, of course, stuff like that goes viral, especially if it's coming from like actual scientists and like a reputable lab and stuff like that. Did they not verify or I? And again, there were some questions on some of the data and stuff like, well, we don't see how you got that. It might be a thing. Apparently, one of the, I believe, the lead author, primary author, did apply for a patent in Korea. There was a publication in a Korean journal. It looks like, at least we had the translation the other day. But as we can see, it's outlook not so good. Outlook not so good. But we'll wrap up with why this might actually be interesting. Oh, guys, skip to the hydrogen bond. Shh. So just some headlines and stuff. Okay, from the Intelligencer. The floating speck that promised to change the world, a room temperature superconductor, would be a physics miracle. And for a few days, it looked real. I mean, again, that's the iconic picture that a lot of us have been seeing. Small regular chip of a stone-like material, as wide as the end of a ballpoint pen, less on a flat metal surface, but it's not resting exactly. Ooh, yeah. So basically, we went through that there. I like the Atlantic's title. A big week for floating rocks. A physicist explains LK-99 and the appeal of unidentified superconducting objects. Wow. I mean, because the thing is, like, this got a lot of normal folks engaged, quote unquote, like non-academics, whatever that is. I think you're always learning. But yeah, there were a lot of folks that were doing this. People have been replicating it. It's been live streamed, doing it on Twitch and stuff. Apparently, I'm like, that's pretty neat because it's getting people excited in science. And I think it was oh good, is it Maya Benowitz? I apologize. I believe it's doctor or even professor at this point. I apologize again. Cosmic Vibration on Twitter's, but I believe she had said, "Well, doesn't look like this is a room temperature ambient pressure superconductor, but just the excitement generated from this, people are like, let's try different things." It's like, oh my god, are we getting back into the Mr. Wizard days? I love it. I think, I feel like that's the only show that I ever got up in the morning for, like probably ever, because it was on early in the morning. So maybe it was like 6 or 7. I don't know. All I know is I had to get up wicked freaking early to watch it, but it was pretty sweet. So yeah, the other kind of things. So just me impose LK-99 superconductivity at 400 Kelvin. Because I mean, you look at these parameters, it's like that is not incremental. Because I think was it the high pressure one from like last year or so. You need like a 10,000 diamond, 10,000 pound diamond press or something, and did it like 52 degrees, or I think it was, yeah, it was like 52 degrees Fahrenheit or so, like 20-ish degrees Celsius, I think, like that. So like about 293, about room temperature. Yeah, but it needed to be under pressure. Dr. Hossenfeld does a great job with those videos. But yes. Oh, hey, Rick. Yeah, Rick. Yes. What got more traction? At least for me, whatever the government's going to be doing, the government's going to be doing this and that, and just until stuff happens to be come out, and I have something to say. If you want to just hypothesize about technology, that's cool. I mean, people are going to do what they're going to do. This was absolutely fascinating to me, and just because it's one of those things where it's like, I think Mike had said, what was it? Literally like for $1,000, and go out. The most expensive thing is like a $500 vacuum oven that you could technically do, but that $8,000 one they had in the lab was obviously much better. But people are trying different things, and what kind of gave me hope is, let's go over to the picture. When you start seeing the lattice here, okay, so it basically, I believe, it's doped, or I believe that's ionized lead 2 ions and then 1 ion. Tetrahedrons are basically the phosphates. But when you actually looked at it, I'm like, okay, it doesn't look quite nice. Maybe that imperfection is what's needed. Maybe that's apparently imperfections for some things make them work. But I'm like, okay, I could kind of see that. It's maybe a little surprising it was like that high, but I believe, what was it? Chinese National Lab replicated some of the floatingness, and then another lab found superconductivity at 810 Kelvin, which is pretty good. It's not the 400 degrees Kelvin that was claimed. And I sit back, I'm like, I feel like those figures almost sound like, if we made an optimum compound, something along these lines, we might be able to find this. That's what it kind of sounds like, in my opinion, and somebody kind of got ahead of themselves. I'm just like, oh, and that's why I think was it the Bloomberg article. I didn't link because it wouldn't let me go through it, but it literally said, it's like, yeah, Korean stocks tank after like this is like, oh god, oh. I mean, it's sad, but I think this literally lit the fire under humanity's butts to be like, this can actually be done. Because from out of the blue, it's like some South Korean scientists it's like, what? And now maybe it's a hint, a clue. And one of the things that I noticed from Wolfram Alpha, when you plug it in, you just go to the Wikipedia article and grab the other fancier things here. They don't have the modeling here for it yet, but gives you the molar mass, the composition. I was trying some stuff. Gives you the numbers there. And my thing is, I'm like, okay, so it's mostly lead. Lead is pretty heavy. It's supposed to keep Superman from using his X-ray vision. So okay, it's pretty massive. If you're squeezing that, and you can squeeze other particular atoms in there in a way where, I don't know, maybe you start to get around the magic angle or something. Maybe. It would need to be tight, but not too tight, and basically just spin around. I will find that data about the superconducting things and stuff. I had it from like a year and a half ago, managed to get it to work, and then I forgot where it was. But yeah, we'll see. That's the thing. As long as people are getting interested in science, that's the big thing. So humanity really needs to win. Oh, and then when you put in the full, I think, was it the SMILES identifier? I think those are the ion states, I believe. Could be wrong. But gives you these cool structure diagrams. So you see the phosphate, and it looks like, all right, binding to the oxygen, blah, blah, blah. And then you're just seeing this H bond acceptor count. I was like, what the heck is an H bond? And of course, it's hydrogen bond, which apparently does use some of those tetrahedral angles for molecules and stuff. Pretty neat. But, oh, go back. And then it'll show you, showing you the moles and literally the ingredients. I feel like it's Breaking Bad, except it's like, rather than creating highly addictive drugs, we're creating the future. So, and I think that's a pretty neat thing to be around for. But, and again, do I really know what any of these things really mean? No, not really. It's been so long since I've done chemistry or anything like that. It's like, could I look some of the stuff up? Sure. But I think it's really neat. I mean, I could conjecture about this, that, or the other thing, but I think it's a good thing we had some fire lit under our keisters, because, well, I know at least I needed it. But well, that's all we got for right now. Just some update, summation. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. It was a claim. We saw some cool stuff. People looked into it. There's still some cool stuff. Doesn't seem to pan out or meet. Maybe, hey, hopefully they'll have like the ultimate sample, the final form, and we'll hit all those things that they said. But until we see that, and especially unless they really have a secret sauce, and I looked at the altitude of the lab where it was in. Apparently, I believe it was in Seoul, South Korea. The elevation's like, I don't know, like 35 feet or something like that. It's basically right there at sea level. So I'm like, Well, if it was done in a lab, and the lab is in the mountain, well, then again, you still have the vacuum pressure thing anyway, so you'd be able to calibrate it. Yeah, I don't think that's really playing hand in it. But all right. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some really cool stuff coming in the very near future. Because again, rumor has it, 2023 is the year to see. All right, Cliff. Take care of yourselves, everybody.